Okay, good morning, everybody. We are playing some Pioneer. If you didn't hear yesterday, they finally banned Winota. They also banned Expressive Iteration 2. And the black-based mid-range decks have also been doing pretty well in Pioneer lately. The most established version is Rakdos. Back when we were doing a lot of exploring in the Pioneer format, we played a lot of Rakdos mid-range, like the deck. We also tried Golgari variants, Orza variants, and just straight mono black as well. And the one I'm kind of most excited to return to is Grim Flayer. And I think the big new upgrade for this archetype that I haven't really seen very many people playing is Tenacious Underdog and a Licensed Hearse. I think both of these cards are going to be very strong in the archetype, and I think that they shine probably the most in green black, where you have access to more creatures to crew Hearse, and then you also have Grim Flayer to like mill over Tenacious Underdog for value, and now you also have an artifact for Delirium for Grim Flayer as well. Change up the list a little bit from the last time we played it. We're playing an Elder Gargaroth in the main deck now. We're obviously the curve's a little bit lower. Not playing all these Invoke Despairs anymore. I think that makes sense. Although I'm not 100% sure. Like, I largely liked the Invoke Despairs, like the mono green matchup, which is maybe still going to be an issue, but we'll just kind of try this out. Played a little bit of this last night. I was liking it. Okay. Basic Forest, Oath of Nissa. Could be mono green Devotion. Could be a couple other decks. Questing Beast very good in those matchups. Although, not very good against Old Growth Troll, which my opponent's revealed here. Unfortunately. I will Duress. Opponent thinking on the Duress. Decides to let it resolve. Kind of a medium hand here. Nykthos Breeding Pool. 2 copies of Old Growth Troll. Oh no, sorry, just 1 copy, and then it got revealed twice. I guess we'll play a second Hive here. This is a very good top deck for them, the Elvish Mystic, allowing them to actually cast their Old Growth Troll next turn. Can I explain why I don't play 1-2 trophies? That card sucks. It actually, like, here's how, like, most people read Assassin's Trophy. Most people will look at Assassin's Trophy. Okay. Most people will look at Assassin's Trophy and say, destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Wow, that's great. I'm going to put that in the deck. Wow, that card's awesome. But there's actually more text on the card. There's actually more text on the card. That card actually makes you let your opponent search up a land and put it into play untapped. It's really bad. Jackson, 6 months. Appreciate you. There's some greedy, yeah, there are some greedy mana bases, but I think like that's something that you want to look when the metagame settles a bit. If people are really cheating on basics, then the card becomes better. But like at least at the time of making this comment, the metagame at Pioneer is kind of all over the place, so I don't think it makes a lot of sense to be like metagaming super hard. Speed on Mono Blue Spirits. Winota was one of the worst matchups for Mono Blue Spirits, I think, and so now that Winota is banned, I think they gain a lot of stock. I think it's a good choice. I think of Jessica Demlich, is there too much sideboard graveyard hate fooling around for it to thrive? Yeah, there is a lot of graveyard hate, although the Jessica Demlich has always been pretty good at beating it because of all the prismatic endings and card selections to find your prismatic endings. That being said, there is like the kind of it's not very good against Living End, which is a tough thing to be weak against the metagame, and it's also not very good against Titan, which is becoming a bit more popular at the moment, I think, as well. Okay, we're probably gonna lose game 1, although they are out of gas here, so I can make my trackers 5/4s next turn. Probably gonna be a little too small. I'll take 9 though. If I could find a fatal push. Yeah, if we can find a fatal push, maybe we have a chance. Like I said, would have needed to push on their turn because they can activate this. I always forget that this has the activated ability. Okay, turn 1 game. Well, rough game 1 on the draw against mono green. Getting kind of wrecked. I do think Elder Gargaroth, a big part of the reason I'm playing this card is this matchup. This card kind of outclasses all the creatures. Kalitas is also a solid option. Stopping the death triggers on Old Growth Troll and Cavalier is pretty relevant as well. Although we admittedly are kind of light on removal for Cavalier. I think I'm going to bring in the Bloodchief's Thirst as well. I think Graveyard Trespasser is a card that gets outclassed really quickly. I don't think I'm going to play Hearse against the Karn deck. Could probably play the Vraska, actually. Could play maybe second Duress. Could play 1 Go Blank. Could play third Duress. Don't think I want to play Damping Sphere. Could play 1 Trespasser. You think there are only Mono Green and Lotus at the top of the format now? I mean, it is kind of silly to say definitively what is or isn't at the top of the format at the moment when we're currently undergoing big metagame shifts. We'll see. I do think that there is going to be a there's mono red and various control strategies and black-based mid-range decks and Niv and mono blue spirits. Also, we were just talking about that. All seem like they have a lot of potential in the metagame. Format, I think, is very open. Lots of room for growth and change. Go Blank is good for clearing up festivals in the yard. That's a good suggestion. Maybe we'll bring them in on the draw or some number. Kind of interested in Abrupt Decaying this Wolf Willow Haven. What, Murder Strider? I think the 3 mana removal spells are kind of weak. Obviously, like, they're somewhat playable, but I think that I usually prefer to not play them. It reveals Llanowar Elves. Does have a land. They actually have they must be playing a Hydra Krasis with all these blue sources. I may end up blitzing the second Tenacious Underdog here. Is the mono black aggro deck with Rankle even good? That deck has not been putting up results for a long time. Dude, third Breeding Pool, so much damage. Yeah, that deck has not been putting up results for a while, actually. Okay, so I think I'll sack my forest here. Oh, did I mess up, actually? If I kill this Old Growth Troll, they still have Devotion, and then they can cast Storm the Festival. I think I messed up. Yeah, I needed to take the Storm the Festival. I didn't realize they could just cast it because of the Nykthos. The second Nykthos, too. I guess in that case, we just cast the second Tenacious Underdog and pass. Because I think they're mana short without, Oh, no, they're not even a mana short. Dang it. Decay the Oath? I guess that was the line, yeah. I couldn't pull the trigger on it, but I guess that was the line. I mean, the real line was Thoughtseize the Storm the Festival. I should obviously taken more time with it. I just thought they were really far away from casting it, but they weren't. See what the damage is. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Yeah, big punt, We have to let the Vraska die. Yeah, sorry chat. Pretty winnable game. Short question about Bear Prowess. What do you think would be the best replace Expressive Iteration? I mean, I've been thinking about it as well. I actually kind of think the answer is Consider. Yeah, you could play Reckless Impulse or Light Up the Stage too, but the reality is, like, you just have to start playtesting. No green mana is really tough here. I think I'm still gonna keep on the play on the Mold of 6. Okay, Pioneer's all mono green, I guess. Ugin the Spear Dragon. Oh no, it's the bad it's the bad Gruul ramp deck, I think, actually. Do you think the dragons without expressive iteration is still viable? Sprite. Oh, the blue-red dragons deck? Maybe. Maybe. I do feel like that one probably took a bigger hit than other blue-red decks, though. And, like, I also feel like I liked the dragons deck before, I liked the dragons deck before they printed Shredder, but Shredder is just, like, so nuts. It's kind of hard to imagine playing a like, blue-red deck without, like, 4 Shredder. A bunch of Black Anvils and paper. Do you think it's viable? Yeah, I think so. I think that if I was going to play a Pioneer tournament right now, I would either be playing Blue-Red Phoenix or Anvil. What are my thoughts about banning Dig if it's seeing much play? I like so I was in favor of banning the Delve spells instead of Expressive Iteration, and people always go, actually, Spike, Dig Through Time isn't seeing a lot of play right now. But that argument just sucks because if you ban Treasure Cruise, every single deck that played Treasure Cruise just plays Dig instead. I think I'm gonna crack a clue here. Seven or more lands. So they can Atarka next turn. I guess I have to take the Ugin because they have 2 Atarkas. And thankfully they can only kill one of them. I guess just my tracker, but definitely not in great shape. I'll play Anvil today. Maybe I have like, I want to play this, so I'll play Mono Red Fires. Maybe we'll also play Anvil. The 2 decks I would be considering for a Pioneer tournament right now, I think, are like Red Black Anvil and then Blue Red Phoenix. Yeah, a lot of people share this opinion that they really like that Pioneer is... Okay, they lose life just for creatures, right? Okay. A lot of people really like the fact that there are the blue Devil spells legal. I don't really like the argument that much, but whatever. Okay, so I kind of hope that this incentivizes my opponent to attack and I can just kill them with the Tenacious Underdog dash. Arch of Vraska, too. Phoenix with Planning or Charm. It's just going to take some time to figure out. Like, Chart of Course is also, like, in the conversation, and not that many people are really talking about it for some reason. They're supposed to do this second main. I guess maybe they just didn't realize this was legendary. They also have to discard a card. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to push this, and then we kind of have an interesting option between Trespasser, put them to 3, but I think I have to, or Underdog, put them to 3, but then I lose 2 life. I don't die to this, and if they attack, they have to have something, but it's not that hard for them to have something. And then my Trespasser is going to be able to even drain them for 3 total if they have nothing. And so if this other line plays around nothing, I think it makes more sense to play Trespasser anyways, because I'm also presenting lethal if they have nothing. Hopefully this is just Arch of Vraska. No, it is Ren and 7, which I can decay the token if they make a token. Are those Amazon starter sets easy for newbies willing to play? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. I know that the starter decks throughout Magic's history have been around and a good resource for players to learn, though. Okay, getting hit by a big Tarka. I think I'm dead. Close game, though. Or closer than it looked. Why is Green Red stick so popular? I don't know. Green Red seems so much worse than Mono Green Devotion. It's like, it's wild. We played against it yesterday. It looked very bad, I thought. I'm sure if I want... Although, I guess they do need to blank a lot of, like, fatal pushes and stuff. I could be wrong about it, I guess, but this was my first impressions of it have been pretty negative. Despite losing here. Play second Gargaroth. Green will win a challenge. Yeah, I know it won a challenge. I've also, like, just me seeing it in action, though, I think it looks so bad. Maybe it was a good metagame call, maybe it was running well, but... I guess that would be why it's popular. Okay, no green mana. Dude, this draw's been pretty bad. Leave it a push. I mean, just push to kill a Grazer and, like, Red and 6 token I think is kind of loose. Okay, I think we have to keep this. We put back Duress and Graveyard Trespasser, and then try to really beat on this Flayer. It's like the blue-white control. Oh, no. I guess I'm Thoughtseizing. Okay, they're kind of letting guess too. Poor Grim Flayer. Okay, we do get to start questing beasting them. It's a lot of pressure on my opponent. Castle Locthwain. I noticed, List, you're playing Grim Flayer, but no real whale to enable Delirium. Would Sylvan Advocate be a potentially better fit? Well, if you look a little bit closer, Grim Flayer, it actually has a built-in way to enable Delirium if you just hit your opponent with it. The Cavalier. Cavalier's been a big problem so far today. Maybe light on answers for Cavalier. We used to have all these Invoke Despairs. Yeah, but yeah, just like Dragon Rage's Channeler in Modern, like these cards just turn on Delirium for themselves. You don't need to like run Delirium enablers for them. We're on a mold of 5. We're on a mold of 5 in a bad matchup. It's gonna be okay. You lose those a lot of the time. Also, Sylvan Advocate is like just so slow and bad. Better if you're playing Nissa though. Do you think most decks can cut their anti-Winota sideboard cards like Red Cat Melee and whatnot? Yeah, I think with Winota being banned, you should formulate some different... Okay, my opponent's playing so slow. We're just never winning this game. Yeah, with Winota being banned, I think it makes some sense to cut some sideboard cards for Winota. Okay, a bit awkward to not be able to Flare onto... without... and Thoughtseize on turn 1. Tireless Tracker, good day to resub. Thank you for the 13 months. So I'm trying to think if I want to play around one red mana removal spell. I think I just need a Flare. Sarkhan, the Dragon Speaker playable, Stormbreath is strictly better. I don't know. I mean, this always happens when like you see a banning in a format like Pioneer. People are like, oh man, is this like 5 mana Planeswalker that's never seen any play in the format? What? You know, but people always go, there's this 5 mana Planeswalker that's never seen any amount of play in the format playable now. And like the answer is like not really still, you know what I mean? It's like this is like these bannings don't usually enable those kind of cards to just all of a sudden be real players. Oh, this card Exiles? I thought this was the reveal a dragon deal damage. Yeah, I should have taken that one. I watched Doomwix play some of the fight rigging decks last night. I've seen a few different lists. I think that they're pretty good. Maybe we should go left this on tap for Tracker. Okay, we got a Tracker on top though. Graveyard. Could maybe have kept a Trespasser. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, I don't think Divide by 0 is very good. Could be wrong though. We'll see. It is banned in Standard. Okay, so this is the lower to the ground version with Knight of the Ebon Legion. I mean, if you're going to be... I feel like I would much rather see Questing Beast over Toski if you're going to be trying to be more aggressive. 4 Scavenging Ooze is also, like, way too many Scavenging Oozes, especially when you're not playing any Trespasser. Trespasser is, like, the better aggressive Graveyard Hate card. Scavenging Ooze is so mana-intensive, and it's also like you're playing millions and millions of black 1-drops, so you want to be more black-heavy than Ooze, want you to be really green-heavy, which is awkward. I think I'm just spinning all these. Oh my gosh! I can't... What? No! I guess I'm getting discounted anyways. But like the density of punts I make when I'm doing a deck tech is so high. Like when I'm doing a deck tech and playing, my like density of punts it's so much higher. It's crazy. I'm sorry, chat. It's been a bad day so far. Yeah, I also like Tenacious Underdog a lot. I think Quest is better than Thoughtseize. I think Assassin's Trophy's not playable. You're playing way too many oozes. I think that I kind of like the slow land over Woodland Cemetery too. Say some deck tests from between rounds. I don't know. I don't usually like to do it. People always say that, but like I don't like the idea of like saving a bunch of deck techs and then all of a sudden we have like 15 minutes of downtime between rounds. Like I think that's a bad way to do it. I think I like the slow land more than the check land. We played like a lot of non-swamp forests, so I think that may be a bit better. Two copies of Hullbreaker Horror and a Divide by Zero. Well, I guess I'm taking the Divide by Zero. Thoughts of Witherbloom command of this? 1-2. What is Witherbloom command good against? Okay, there's Delirium finally. Yeah. There's also like no way like I can like have a deck tech and then like wait 30 minutes and remember I've got like 2 deck techs to do. It's just so much easier to do them first. My opponent learns getting environmental sciences to get a land and put it into hand. So they're now merely 1 land away from a Hullbreaker Horror. But so their hand is currently 2 Hullbreaker Horrors and a Gate. If they brick on the land this turn, we've got a chance, especially if we get to flip this, if they draw like a counterspell this turn. New recognition for iteration in the Niv Omnath pile. Well, I mean, that deck is probably, of all the decks that lost iteration, that's probably the one that like cares the least, because you're just a 5-color deck with every card advantage spell in the in the whole format. You're going to be fine. Okay, so hitting for 7. Still targeting creatures in my yard here. Got plenty in still for Delirium. I think I can keep Castle Locthwain on top. You know, it's of the lands probably the best to draw, and then it's also land for the tracker. And now we're even beating Hullbreaker Horror. Ryan DeMond, thank you for the 9 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I don't know what they bricked really hard on the Behold. I'm not sure what they didn't find. Although, okay, Anger is very good for my opponent, especially because now their Hullbreaker Horror's online. But if I can find another Graveyard Trespasser, I'm going to be able to win. Okay, so I can Graveyard Tenacious Underdog for some value here. That can also beat the Hullbreaker Horror. I think I have to Graveyard everything else as well. And then if I blitz this, that's going to be 4 mana, lose 2 life, draw a card, which is better than Castle Locthwain here, so I think I should just do that. Because Castle Locthwain makes me lose 3. Now, now I would like Witherbloom Command. I don't know, like, Witherbloom Command I think is probably better in Modern than it is in Pioneer because of the general lower mana curves and the ability to recur fetch lands and Urza Sagas. I think playing it as a Delirium Enabler is big nonsense. I don't know what matchups it shines in. I think it probably shines in like 0 matchups, so, or very few matchups. So I'm not that into it. Okay, reading the Hullbreaker Horror. So if there's something else, discard a card, make 2 treasures, discarding negate. Yeah, my opponent's definitely playing Torrential Gearhulk. Calm down, Matthew. Calm down. Glad you like the stream. Yeah, the format's felt pretty solid so far. Despite me punting all morning so far. Seems fine. I can maybe have a Bloodchief Thirst for the big creatures. Mostly just want to discard them, though. I think I'll play Thirst over second Gargaroth. So maybe let's leave tier 1. Appreciate ya. Awesome chillin'. Awesome. Yeah, I have a soft spot for this deck, too. There's always one that I really liked back at the beginning of Pioneer. The removal, just dead in your hand was the only thing worrying me in that game. Yeah, it was rough. But post-board, it's not going to be an issue. Spike is Pioneer live again. It's at least exciting. You know, every time there's a big shakeup like this, everybody's hyped and they're asking me about their pet cards that have never ever been playable. But it's a good time for sure. Okay, let's keep this. It's a good time. It's an exciting time. Hopefully things go better this time in Pioneer Copium. Okay, so I think I'm actually getting Forest here since besides the one of Boseiju, every single other land in my deck is going to tap for black, so that I can have the double green for the Questing Beast. Okay, there we go. And then I like Grim Flayer this turn, so that they're like really incentivized to use their mana to answer the Grim Flayer. Then I can maybe resolve my Liliana. Then maybe if they're leaving up Counter Magic or Hearse Underdog, and if they're not, I can maybe slam Questing Beast. Though maybe they have Negate up here. Hopefully not. Bummer. Getting double 1-for-1 on turn 3 like this is pretty tough. No expressive iteration for you, though. How do you feel about Silent Graveyard Tech versus Hearse and Trespasser? Well, the thing what's nice about Hearse is like you can just main deck this card. You know what I mean? And you could main deck Trespasser, and then that both like. I think I just slam Questing Beast. Well, the Hearse gets worse the longer I wait on it. But they can have another negate, but also like they can dig through time if I wait. So I think I should do this. Yeah, it's just like being able to main deck these cards that not need to play sideboard Graveyard Hate is just so good. Have I seen the Simic fight rigging deck? I've seen some fight rigging decks. I think that the fight rigging decks are decent. Yeah, I've seen some of them. So if they have a double spell, they probably slam it here. Gyarados, God of Storms. Well, never beating that card ever, huh? I almost activated my Hive. I will say Hearse is probably great in this matchup. Yeah, I think the fight rigging decks are pretty cool. Doomake had a really interesting brew last night that was Niv, is it? That was playing fight rigging in a mono green Scales Devotion deck with like the 6-mana Vorinclex. I thought it looked pretty cool. Okay, big score for my opponent, discarding Dig Through Time. Pretty scared of the Niv. I think I need to put max pressure on my opponent here. This is my opponent for like 9 total this turn, down to 4. And I have 2 4/4s, and then also the Hive, I guess. But yeah, I agree that like one thing that really excited me about like this deck was like Winota leaving, making Decay better for sure. I remember at the very beginning of Pioneer, Decay was like quietly the best card of the format because it killed Oko, and then it killed Oko, killed the Mana Elves, it killed Teferi Time Raveler. It was just like so clutch. Okay, another 4/4. I think I'm crewing off Tenacious Underdog. Underdog's been pretty good so far too. Attacking with 4 4/4s. Yeah, if they have Gearhulk, they're dead. They have to have Gearhulk into something. Yeah, I just need to present all the lethal attackers. Seems like they have something. We'll see what it is. Okay, no Gearhulk. Hullbreaker Horror into spell. Okay, hopefully they need an extra spell here or they're dead. Hullbreaker Horror into like 2 1-mana cantrips is probably going to be game though. Let's go. Alright, on the scoreboard. Try to not punt as bad. Playing against Giganta. I'm going to keep this. No beats of the 23 months. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Yep. The Glades have definitely been a bit awkward with the Flayers here. I do want to kind of try to hedge against Sylvan Caryatid, although my opponent doesn't have it. I kind of feel like I have to take the Clothis. The Niv matchup is really, really rough. And they top deck Caryatid, worst possible by so much. Like, nauseatingly worst possible. Surprising amount of O3s today. Maybe Flayer is bad, huh? Oh. My desk's been a bit weird. It's been, like, popping back up. Alright, easy concession. Easy concession. Yeah, the Niv matchup's always been one of the worst. I do think we can bring in at least one more Duress, cutting all the pushes. I did want to bring in the Grow Blinks as well. As Shadow Spirit to remove the Hexproof Caryatid. Well, in the Mono Red Fires deck, we can wish for it. Duress. Yeah, they got a lot of removal spells for my creatures that I'm hoping to Duress. Okay, let's keep this one. Solid hand on the play. Okay, so I can take the Decay, and then the only answer they have for this Grim Flayer will be their Sylvan Caryatid. I guess we play Tenacious Underdog instead. Which I guess they can verse also. This matchup is so bad. I maybe we're just saying that all day today, but Niv is like gotta be the worst matchup. Okay, they do play the Caryatid this turn. Wouldn't Blooming Marsh be better with the Flare and Deathcap? Yeah, I think it may be. I kind of ported this mana base from a different version I was playing earlier that was playing Invoke Despair as a 5-drop, and I did kind of like that version. I was playtesting this last night. It did feel fine, obviously. But it may be better to build a deck like we were building it before with the 5-drops. Reverse split of Underdog Flare because all the random O3s. Maybe, yeah, maybe. I was thinking that Underdog is kind of like a bad card to draw in multiples, though. My opponent discards Scarab God Bring to Light, so they keep a land and they're gonna play Niv Mizzet, and we're gonna be super dead. Is Sacrifice deck with Anvil dead now that Witness is a thing? Well, so far in my testing, the Anvil deck has been better than the Ob Nixilis Tenacious Underdog version. Today has definitely been like Spike. Now that Winota's gone, is like this random 5-drop that's never seen any play in Pioneers. This card is it finally time? I think the answer is still going to be no for a lot of these, unfortunately. Okay, so go Hive, Underdog, into Tracker or Hearse. I think I'll put back the Hearse. 2/3 Obs. Mayhem Devil is just the stronger card than the Mirror. Yeah, I mean, obviously Mayhem Devil is way better than Ob, but I think. But I don't know how to find room for these cards. Topiary Stomper. This is a cool card. Feels like we're getting our teeth kicked in all morning, though, so far. I may just pivot to the Mono Red Fires deck. Everything is so much bigger than mine. Okay, I feel like I've played against like 4 awful matchups in a row, but that's probably a sign that like this version is just like not very well built and very well positioned. I went like I think 3-1 last night. I was feeling okay about it, but I think I fell into the same syndrome where I'm just waiting to play my pet deck during a format shakeup. But let's go and pivot to a deck that I have liked in the past, a deck that I feel like.